everybody's fired up for it. Let's make it Miami, man, and I can't wait.
I'm really not concerned about all the hype that their fans are putting on this game.
They came here to see Hurricane football. Let's go like a bunch of crazy men and play some games.
There have been hostilities between these two schools, bad feelings. These two teams still don't like each other. It has come down to this play. 45 seconds to play. Notre Dame 31, Miami 30, and going for two. Incomplete.
Nearly 3 decades later, faces, the names have all changed, but the impact of this game has not. Third-ranked Notre Dame, led by a Heisman hopeful, seeking to run into the college football playoff.
There goes Josh Adams.
Seventh-ranked Miami, still perfect, playing every game with purpose and a familiar swagger.
Get the turnover chain ready.
Two legendary programs, seeking a return to glory. Their roads back to that promised land intersect. As history tells us, expect the classic.
The Hurricanes and the Fighting Irish back center stage. As the Hurricanes storm in signature style with the smoke and the pyrotechnics. Far before the Miami and Notre Dame players were born. That was the last high-impact game between these two programs that run between 87 and 90. But they have been reminded of that by the former greats on both sides. Brian Kelly knows his team must match Miami's energy early, but he believes his team is built with a long haul. You'd expect nothing less, but a chorus of boos for the Fighting Irish here in South Florida, Kirk. Maria Taylor and Tom Rinaldi both join us on the field tonight. Maria is with Mark Riggs.
Thanks, Chris. So, Coach, after your first 7 games, you don't play a ranked opponent. Now you welcome in your second straight, and it's the third best team in the nation. What was the final message you wanted to deliver to your team before taking the field?
Just play hard, play physical. It's going to be a long game. It's going to be a long night. We've been through this before. Let's go do it again.
All right, thanks for your time, Coach. Now over to Tom Rinaldi, who's at Brian Kelly.
Maria, thank you very much, Brian. An electric atmosphere. What have you told your team about withstanding the initial wave of emotion?
Well, you got to meet their energy, obviously, early on. And then as the game kind of unfolds, that's going to go away. But you got to meet it early on. Get in your optimal zone. Don't get distracted. There's 4 scoreboards around here. Get your eyes on your job, and we'll be fine.
Good luck and enjoy it.
Thank you.
They handled hostilities early in East Lansing and took Michigan State's crowd out of the game in a rout. These programs often compared. Miami's 5 national titles, really bulk of them coming since Notre Dame won their most recent title. 4 different Miami head coaches. The Irish, of course, very much back in the running, a year removed from a 4-8 season. One factor might be the conditions. It's breezy, but it's humid, 77 degrees, far warmer than when you were in South Bend watching the Irish practice earlier this week, Kirk.
Yeah, 40 degrees and chilly. They were indoors for practice, but it did make me wonder how they would handle the heat and humidity down here in Miami.
Now, Miami winning the toss, deferring, so they will kick off, and we'll see this high-powered running game of the Irish take the field first.
Thought it was interesting watching and listening to Maria and Tom's interview with the coaches. You could see them both having to lean in to hear the questions. It is going to be very loud in here tonight. Keep in mind, Notre Dame, their toughest road game, East Lansing against Michigan State early in the year. They haven't been on the road in 5 weeks. Handling this is a big factor for them.
It's not the old Orange Bowl, but it's as close as it's been in this building. The new roof, it keeps the noise in here. It's going to be a serious challenge for the visitors on offense tonight. C.J. Sanders, the dangerous returner. Michael Badgley often doesn't allow opposing returners a chance to take it back. This will be fun. The Canes and the Irish, just like old times. Badgley boots it high, but a chance for a return. And this is Sanders from the 3. Bounces off the tackler. And a nice return out across the 30-yard line. So Josh Adams, who was on the fast track to the Heisman finalist list, then got sidetracked. Only 5 carries, sat out early against Wake Forest. Seems to be okay. No more headaches.
Yeah, a lot of people wondered what was wrong with him last week, but the coaches have told us, and I saw on Thursday at practice, everything looks great. He is an imposing back that will rely on that left side of the offensive line. I would argue this Notre Dame entire offensive line works as one unit as well as any offensive line in college football.
And Adams behind those big guys, averaging 8.7 per carry this season. He's got it. And the Canes have got him for no gain as Chad Thomas, the senior end, grabbed him.
Very first play of the game, you get an idea of the speed of Miami and how quickly they move in from the backside. Robert Hainsey, the right tackle, a freshman, pulled around, and number 9, Chad Thomas, lined up against him. He chased down the ball carrier from behind and brings Josh Adams down right at the line of scrimmage.
The veteran of the group, Thomas, making his 29th start tonight. Play action, and Wimbush delivers, deflected, and almost intercepted in his hands. Zach McLeod had it. It was deflected by Quarterman. We almost saw the turnover chain in the first minute.
Watch the linebacker play here, anticipating a quick throw. They freeze and they wait, and then they go up. Perfect job by Shaq Quarterman, the leader of this defense, timing up the leap, knocking it in the air, and then there's the Canes waiting to come up with that big turnover. It's been a big part of their defense all year, but especially the last 3 games with 12 interceptions.
They have been tough on 3rd down, and the Irish need 10. Canes rush only 3. Wimbush has time and delivers a strike. Bouncing off tacklers there is Kevin Stefferson, and the speedy receiver out of the doghouse into Miami territory.
Wow, big time throw by Brandon Wimbush on 3rd down. Miami just rushing 3, spying in case of the scramble, but playing zone. A little bit different wrinkle from them on that 3rd down.
Now it's Adams on 1st down. This is heavy traffic, picks his way, but gets nothing. And Joe Jackson, the other end, made the stop. Tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players.
When you talk Notre Dame, we've talked a lot about Josh Adams. St. Brown, I think, on one side, 6. We just saw Stefferson and what he can do. Jaquan Johnson, number 4, the leader of this defense, along with Shaq Quarterman in that front. We're already seeing that matchup between the Notre Dame offensive line and the Miami front 7. Going to be a heck of a battle all night.
We feed Adams again. He is a true home run hitter. He went 4 consecutive games with touchdown runs of 70-plus yards thanks to this offensive line, perhaps the best in the country.
Yeah, like I said, I think they really work well as a unit. We saw Mel Kiper had the left tackle, McClinchy, and also Nelson. Both of these guys listed for the draft next year as potentially top 15 picks.
Another 3rd down. They need 5. Canes rush 4. Wimbush delivers another strike, and Equimenius St. Brown, a 1st down catch at the Miami 35.
Good job again. Brandon Wimbush settling in, and there's St. Brown on a quick slant. What happened is the linebackers just cleared out, made it easy on a passing lane for Wimbush, who isn't the tallest quarterback, but with the linebackers cleared out, a great lane, and he takes advantage of it.
2 3rd down conversions, and now a 1st down throw. Wimbush for the end zone. St. Brown over his hands. He had his man beat, the safety Jaquan Johnson.
Wow, well-designed play. Love the call by Chip Long. Watch the tight end Smythe right here, and watch how he works to the middle. He's going to take the safety, Jaquan Johnson, with him, and that opens it up behind there, one-on-one. It looked like a little bit of confusion. Johnson bit on the tight end. St. Brown gets behind Johnson because of it, and that time Wimbush just needed a little bit more air, and that would have been a touchdown.
Another throw from the pocket. Throw off the hands of the crossing receiver, Chase Claypool. It'll be third down again.
Really love how Chip Long, the offensive coordinator, we talked a lot about what he's brought to this offense, calling the plays now for Brian Kelly. Talk about coming into this environment and saying, you know what, we're not going to ease into this game. Chip Long has an aggressive personality, and he's bringing that aggressive nature here on this opening drive.
He is a feisty character in practice, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He was disappointed by Claypool's drop right there. Now on third down, Wimbush is chased, pursued, retreats, and just heaves it down the sidelines. Incomplete. Incomplete. Miami lobbying for an interception, but he was out of bounds, and Claypool was in the area, and the Canes get a stop.
You can get pressure with just rushing three. Wimbush looked like he took a chance there, a little ill-advised instead of clearly throwing it away. And a great effort by Bandy, the true freshman, trying to keep his toes in bounds and come up with that interception.
Tremendous effort by the 5'9" freshman. I think his toes just left the ground before he
started to elevate.
So Tyler Newsome, pretty good at pinning teams inside the 20. We'll try to do that right here as Braxton Berrios waits at the 10. Newsome boots it high. Berrios, very sure-handed returner, makes the fair catch right there. So the Irish move it 35 yards, but are stopped, and now the first possession for Malik Bergier and the Miami offense. Here in Hard Rock Stadium, Malik Bergier, the junior from Mobile, brings the Hurricanes out for their first possession. Comes off his lowest output passing game in the win over Virginia Tech here a week ago, but his best game as a runner. Really hurt the Hokies on the ground.
And I think a lot of that was because of the style of defense that Virginia Tech and Bud Foster plays. Tonight it's going to be more about his arm and his receivers making plays.
Empty backfield. The running back Travis Homer is in the slot to the left. And now he'll come into the backfield. Bergier back. Delivers a long throw. Catch made there by Jeff Thomas, and the freshman is loose, and he's out across the 30. He can take it the distance on any touch.
He sure can. And Miami tonight, offensively, because of what Notre Dame will do, Notre Dame's going to put an umbrella up. They're going to try to keep everything in front of them, and it means that Miami's going to have a lot of chances underneath. I'm going to take a peek at this to see, he may have stepped out of bounds there.
It's an ACC crew. Steve McBride is the replay official. Let's see if he buzzes down right on cue. They will take a look at it.
The previous play is under review.
It's probably going to be about 2nd and 3.
Jerry Magallanes in charge of this ACC crew. There's another look at the heel of his right foot right there, catching the white.
Yeah, it's on there.
That is going to be just short of the 20-yard line. Should take the first down off the board. But Thomas, one of those emerging receivers, moved from the slot to the outside. Only his 3rd game playing the new position, but he's a threat downfield.
Yeah, he is. But I think Notre Dame's defense comes in. They have a new defensive coordinator, Mike Elko, who came over from Wake Forest. And they're a little vulnerable to the big play through the air, and I think they know that. That's why I said look for a lot of soft zone, and I think you're going to see Rozier throw a lot of underneath passes, rely on yards after the catch, like we just got an example of with Jeff Thomas. And Notre Dame's going to say, let's try to give up some plays and then make Miami execute in the red zone and see if we can force some field goals.
Jeff Thomas, as well as number 82, Amon Richards, who's a speedster. Braxton Berrios in the slot, number 8. He can get deep. And Chris Herndon, the tight end. You think he's a real matchup challenge for this Irish defense tonight, number 23 for Miami?
I think Herndon and Berrios against the linebackers is something that Miami will look to try to make some plays on in the middle of the Notre Dame defense. And also just what you just saw. You get the ball out to Jeff Thomas, and you have soft corner play. Make those corners have to make plays in space.
I'll tell you what, the ACC is methodical sometimes when they do these replay reviews, and they are taking their time on what seemed to us a pretty clear case of the heel hitting the sideline. Dave Katai, our expert, let's get him an early rep, Kirk, in the first few minutes here. Dave, what did you see from our replay?
Clearly stepped out of bounds. I think what's taking a lot of time is they have to reset the clock because he stepped out of bounds and find the exact yard line. But I think it should have gone a little quicker than this, to be honest with you.
We spent 5 minutes to add a few seconds back to the clock. Okay.
After review, the runner stepped out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Correct to 19.5. It will be second down.
So Thomas, who did not have a catch against the Hokies last week, does make the early play, but it'll be second down and short. The Miami running game at times has struggled, but average per carry, Kirk, they're at 5.4. That's top 20 in the country. They just don't run a lot of plays, and they struggle mightily on third down. Irish showing some pressure on 2nd and 2. Homer. And he scoots for a first down. They're playing without Mark Walton, who's the alpha of this offense, out for the year with an ankle injury. He was their top running back, so Homer's had to step up.
Yeah, I was really impressed last week with Homer, how hard he ran. Been a special teams guy for Miami, and with the injury to Walton, has stepped up to become their go-to guy in that backfield. He's going to have to carry the load more tonight than he did last week, with Rozier having so many carries himself.
Homer also an effective receiver out of the backfield. 15 catches this season. Rozier has time from the pocket and delivers a little dart across the middle. That's Herndon getting involved early, the tight end.
The challenge with Rozier has just been consistency with his accuracy. He looks like he's already in a pretty good rhythm. Doing a nice job here with getting him just settled into the game. Some easy throws that I'm sure he's very comfortable with. He has a chance tonight to throw for a lot of yards because of the way Notre Dame is going to try to defend him, playing a lot of zone on 1st and 2nd downs. Give him a lot of easy throws and try to let his receivers and tight ends make plays, like I said, after the catch.
They know they have to avoid Kirk those 3rd and long. It's been a nightmare, and a nice 6-yard gain on 1st down. Rozier again. Brief look downfield. Tried to take off, but he was trapped by Tavon Coney, the South Florida native and top tackler on this defense.
Yeah, and look what Notre Dame goes to. You have the center covered here. You've got a defensive tackle caught up in between 2 men, so they eat up the linemen. And Coney, who's just on fire these last 3 or 4 weeks, playing much more instinctive. Talking to him Thursday at practice, I said, what's been the difference? He said, you know, the big thing has just been getting more reps. It's allowing me to just play and not have to think as much. He's playing with a ton of confidence.
Was he pumped up to come back? He's from just north of here.
Yeah.
3rd and 5. Rozier gets it out quickly, incomplete. Well covered down the middle was Ahman Richards. He was bracketed there, and it's 4th down.
This is really a good job by Notre Dame. You're going to see Nick Coleman, 24, to come over and help Julian Love. That's the bracket, the double team. Take away their biggest threat, which is Ahman Richards on 3rd downs. Also, with a lot of movement up front, they put pressure on Rozier, made him get rid of that football very quickly. Good job there.
Yeah, you're right. Andrew Trumbetti provided the pressure. And now Zach Fiegels, the true freshman punter, to boot it away. Chris Fink is the Irish returner. Does not call fair catch and pays a price as he is slammed down at the 22-yard line by Deejay Dallas, a backup running back who flew down on special teams. So Josh Adams and the Irish back to work. Scoreless here in Miami. And he's at a Heisman house. Michael Irvin hanging out with Mr. Everett there. Maybe he got a guest pass from his old quarterback, Vinny Testaverde, in the Heisman. Get in there. Reps Gino Torretta. 2nd possession for the Irish. On their 24-yard line.
First drive, they had 3 runs and 6 passes. Came out putting the ball into the hands of Brandon Winbush and saying, let's go after this Miami defense. See what
First
they do
2
here.
carries for Adams Kirk were no gain. Ended up gaining 5 yards in his 3 runs in that first possession. Toss sweep. And Miami comes up, hits him, but Adams able to bounce off the tackle. Meanwhile, Brandon Winbush a week ago, a real scare. He's playing Wake Forest. Watched his hand there. Helmet hits it He went down hard, came out of the game for a while, but showed his toughness. Came back in the game, earned a game ball for his running and throwing in the victory.
110 yards on the ground with Josh Adams not able to be in the game.
Adams has it again, and he is dragged down for a short game to Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, you saw that play. Wimbush suffered a contusion on that left hand, swollen to 50 to 70% of its normal size. You see him now wearing that padded glove. He's done that all week in practice. Now, that might not be a concern when he passes, but Kirk, as you know, he's a dynamic runner. And if he has to get toward the left boundary, switch the ball toward the left hand, that could be something to watch out for. Again, he's kept it in practice. He missed his last recovery session in terms of rehab, so not a concern for him. But Brian Kelly said he knows it's there, and he's told Wimbush, be extra careful when you make the transfer.
Tommy, that's exactly what I asked him about Thursday, is what if you get on that left sideline and you're running, your instincts take over, can you squeeze the ball? And he said, actually, I don't know. I haven't tried that yet. So once he gets into the game, he's going to have to do that. He has like a big glove, and see how he's protecting that left hand. That is very risky and tough to do on the center and the quarterback. Usually you have both the left hand and the right hand together. They're just a right hand. Need a pretty big hand and a strong right hand to be able to secure that football.
Canes defensive tackle Anthony Moten was slow to get up, eventually did walk to the sidelines. We'll go into that tent for an examination as the Canes try to get the football back. Notre Dame needing 3 on third down.
Quarterback run here on these third and shorts.
Good call, option look, the pitch in the boundary, and the Canes stuff it out and smother him for a loss. Jaquan Johnson hit Claypool, the receiver, who came around to take the pitch.
And he came about 15 or 20 yards. He's right here. He sees the motion. Look, you can see his eyes looking at it, so he knows what to expect, and he takes off. He didn't wait. He didn't hesitate. He knew that he had the pitch. He saw the receiver in motion. He trusted that Wimbush would be taken away, and then he makes the play there on the receiver. Nice job.
Heart and soul of the defense. Undersized, quiet but respected leader. And now Newsom punts it to Berrios, who have a chance from the 25. Braxton Berrios, the slot receiver, the fine scholar athlete, puts Miami in good position at the 43. Cassidy, thank you. Miami set up for its second possession. Poor hang time by Fiegels allowed an 18-yard return by Berrios. So Miami from the 42. First down carry for Homer. And he turns the corner and gets about 3. Burned the Hokies for a 64-yard touchdown run a week ago. The nature of their running game was kind of short gain, home run.
Yep. Yeah, and Thomas Brown told us this week, I think he made a great point, because of the style of defense they're facing, being very patient is important as a play caller.
Second down throw, incomplete. Threw it into heavy traffic trying to get the ball again to Richards, but Julian Love, the corner, was all over him.
Yeah, the sophomore started the year as a field corner, but he's made so many plays. They moved him into the boundary, got there a little early and got away with it. He'll jump routes. He is not afraid. In fact, at some point, I bet you Miami does a double move to test Love's discipline, because he's so effective at jumping routes. 3 interceptions, 2 that have been taken to the house for touchdowns.
Yeah, his third was almost another pick 6, and he leads the FBS in passes broken up this season. Another one there. It's a screen. Homer has space, cuts it back, weaves his way down to the 30-yard line. And he told you he's dangerous out of the backfield.
I thought Rozier set this up well. Watch the patience. He looks left, baiting that Notre Dame pressure. Nobody picks up Homer out of the backfield. You saw an attempt by Morgan, but a great time to go to the screen on third down when you know that Notre Dame's going to try to get pressure on the quarterback. And Rozier was patient, waited, looked it off, and then came back and dumped it off to the right.
25-yard gain. Rozier, a 3 for 5 start. Looking to throw on first down. Herndon makes a hands catch and muscles down inside the 20.
Remember, part of what Notre Dame thought they would do is they would give up some plays. They were going to give up some yards. They want Miami to have to earn it in this area right here in the red zone. It's been a trouble spot for most of the year for the Canes. Last week, they got in there 3 times and scored 2 touchdowns. You can see 101st in the country at scoring touchdowns, and Notre Dame's been outstanding in this area.
Yeah, Miami 16 for 30. That's it. Richt, who calls the plays, has been frustrated. Rozier takes off. This is one answer as the quarterback slides down for a 5-yard gain. But because he doesn't believe his O-line can just overpower people, he gets to gadget plays down close, doesn't he?
He does. This is a quarterback read draw. He's just looking at the linebackers. Linebackers clear out. He knows that he can follow his center, Gauthier, and pick up positive yards. That is completely a read. And when he sees the linebackers open up, he's going to take off and take the yards.
You might see anything down here from the Canes in the red zone. They tried to throw back to Rozier last week. That didn't work. Again, a brief look downfield, and the quarterback takes off. This time, no slide. Power is inside for a 1st and goal.
How about this? This time, it's just him creating. He didn't have the center getting downfield, but he saw room to run. 2nd week in a row, he's been very decisive when getting back and feeling if he can get positive yards. An outstanding job, and then he shook the linebacker there in space and picked up about another 5 yards.
This place will get a few decibels louder if the Canes can punch this in, take the early lead. Fade over the head of Amon Richards, who was covered by Love.
Well, that is a heck of a matchup. Julian Love is saying, bring it on. I love this one-on-one matchup. Let's do it. Good against good. Richards, who's getting healthy. The great thing is the positioning of Love, the anticipation of the potential fade, and then getting his head turned around and waiting for that football. That was perfect technique that time by Julian Love on the fade by Richards.
Little shake of the head. They've targeted Richards 3 times, haven't completed 1 yet. 2nd and goal. Rozier again lobbing far side of the end zone. Berrios, touchdown Miami, and the Canes strike first. What a throw to the sure-handed senior slot receiver.
Well, he had a lot of room to work with against the nickelback, Sean Crawford. They're going to confirm just to make sure that he secured the football and got his feet down. What an effort by Berrios.
Aggressive pylon cam going to confirm it. He got both feet down.
Well, the key was, did he hold on to the football when he went down? The progressive pylon cam showing that he definitely got his feet down and held on to the football. What a play there.
8 touchdown reception for Braxton Berrios. Rozier sharp on the drive. They move it 58 yards in 8 plays to take the lead.
He had room to work, a lot of room to the outside against the nickelback, and the placement of this football could not have been any better by Rozier for the touchdown.
Malik Rozier accounting for 55 of the 58 yards in that touchdown drive. Ran it for 13, 3 of 5 passing.
Well, he looks like he is really settled in. Really the last 2 weeks.
Sanders will leave it in the end zone. Another look at Berrios, who's so tough to cover.
Yeah, watch him take Crawford to the corner. Sets him up, and the key there is he has all that space to be able to work and be able to kind of get in position. But that ball is really about the throw. It's a good route by Berrios. Incredible effort to get the foot down and secure the ball. But, of course, the throw by Rozier was as good as you can make.
One of my favorite guys in the sport to talk to. He's maybe 5'8". He has waited his whole career to make plays, to be in the spotlight. Only had 6 touchdowns in his whole career coming into this year. Now has 8. As a senior. And the Irish answer. Wimbush pulls it almost through a pick again as Malik Young, the corner, had it in his hands. Zach McLeod pressured the quarterback. Maria.
Well, Chris, I don't know if you saw Braxton Berrios immediately after the touchdown, but he's doing an ode to the Catholics versus convicts. Hands behind his back and walking off the field. All all of these players understand the dynamic of this matchup. They've played into it all week, and they're calling this a legacy game that they must win.
Good spot, Maria. That was sort of subtle by Braxton. Boy, twice Wimbush has flirted with interceptions. Now they hand it to Adams on second down, a short gain. He is fortunate that he hasn't seen the turnover chain already.
You're right. That's two balls that could have been easily intercepted. This speed of the Miami defense, we've bragged all year about Notre Dame's offensive line and how they push people off the ball. They're trying to pull their backside guard and tackle on both sides, and it's not working. The timing has not been there yet because Miami's chasing it down from behind.
3rd and 6. Two-back look, and now Tony Jones motions out. Canes only rush 3. Throw high. There's the pick. Jaquan Johnson will be the first wearer of the turnover chain tonight. His 3rd interception this season. The brainchild of Manny Diaz makes its first appearance, and the leader of this defense will be the first to wear it.
Well, he made some big plays last week. Ed Reed's got his chain on. He's excited.
If they'd had the chain back in his day, the low-1 championship team, he'd have had it a few times.
Keep in mind, this is a Notre Dame offense that has not turned the football over with Brandon Wimbush at quarterback. It's going all the way back to September against Boston College.
Had a streak of 114 without a pick coming in, just his 3rd of the season. And now Miami from the 32 trying to build on this lead near the end of the first quarter. Play action, and Rozier steps up, delivers near side. Catch made by Jeff Thomas, who steps out. Both number 4s, so the Canes making plays.
Go back quickly to this interception. This is an errant throw by Wimbush. Watch the ball sail on him. That's why accuracy is so important. If he puts that on the numbers, it's a first down. His receiver can get down. Instead, he goes up high, and the ball is tipped and intercepted, and Miami comes right back and attacks, getting the ball to Thomas.
Attacks is right, Kirk. An aggressive approach from Mark Rick calling the play so far. Rozier, again, darts up the middle, slips out of a tackle, stutter steps, scores! November 2017, but it's beginning to feel a little like the old days in the OB. The Canes, a 2-play touchdown drive after the interception.
We go to a lot of great stadiums and a lot of great scenes. But right now, I don't know if I've heard anything louder than this. Starts with the interception. The ball's high, intercepted by Johnson. He, of course, gets the chain to celebrate the big turnover. Coming over to the sideline, the defense feeds off of that. Miami, a pass. Second play, watch the center again. This is a read of the linebackers. If they drop out, he's going to take off. And again, showing that athletic ability that he has. A former baseball player, he has a great feel for this play. That quarterback read draw.
He was a quarterback, Kirk, that struggled early in the season in first halves. He was the hero of the win at Florida State, the late touchdown pass to Darrell Langham. Rallied him against Georgia Tech, but struggled so often in the first 3 quarters of games. Last week's game against Virginia Tech, he took a step up, and he has built on that so far tonight.
I think he gained a lot of confidence in the way he played last week. And as you said, he's off to a great start tonight against Notre Dame.
Sanders from the 2. Hit hard. You could hear the pads popping. A flag comes in on the return. It was not near the tackle, but Travis Homer, the starting tailback, flying down.
That's really what he's known for before he started carrying the football.
During the return, holding number 44. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the holding penalty will back the Irish up inside their 20. Taco Bell, proud partner of the college football playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections. And passionate fans like these all season long. Passionate fans this morning at College Game Day. What a scene in the campus in Coral Gables to kick off this day.
Well, it was awesome. Brandon Wimbush has got to be poised here, not only inside his own 20, but right in front. Speaking of the student section, right in front of the Miami Hurricane student section, the loudest part of this entire stadium.
Irish have been rocked by 2 touchdowns in a minute 28. Looking to throw in first down. Wimbush not escaped, dragged down on the edge by Trent Harris, a backup defensive end.
Yeah, good coverage. Miami this time goes to man. Wimbush is used to being able to get outside, being able to make plays with his speed. He's not used to a defensive end like Trent Harris, able to chase him down and bring him down. He's been making plays with his feet all year. Tonight on the road against this defense, off to a little bit of a slow start when it comes to his ability to create.
This offensive line, which has manhandled opponents all season long, being out-quicked so far. 2nd and 13. Wimbush delivers a low throw, and it's incomplete. They have not been in this position this season. And you talked about this first road trip in a long time for this team, and they have got to take a deep breath right now.
And especially him. He came into tonight completing 51% of his passes. I want you to watch him. Watch his technique. Watch his form after he throws the ball. See how he dips down? He's not comfortable. His footwork is affecting his accuracy, and he kind of dropped down like a pitcher knowing that that ball was going to go low.
He had the 2 third-down completions first drive, but he's 2 for 9, and now in 3rd and 13, Wimbush trying to get it with his legs, and he'll be slammed down far short at the 20 by Young and McLeod, and the punt team comes out.
After the first 2 plays, that's really the smartest call that Notre Dame could have made. Just be safe here. Almost need to weather the storm here with the way this game has gotten out of control and favoring Miami.
If you wanted to come in as a visitor, make some plays early to calm down a rowdy crowd, exactly what you don't want to do. This place is lit right now. Newsom gets it away. Barrios this time does make a fair catch signal at the 36-yard line, and the Hurricanes tonight solving one of their trouble spots.
Yeah, and it's been an area where the last couple of weeks Rozier's made plays running the football. That one he just pulled down and made a great run. This was a heck of a throw. This one a little bit more of a design. The read draw where he gets his center out front blocking for him, and again he'll surprise you with nifty moves and in the open field, making people miss. And this guy's getting into the red zone. Remember, Notre Dame said we're going to get him into the red zone, and then we're going to try to get them to kick field goals.
Or the kick, holding number 23 for the kicking team. A 10-yard penalty will be assessed at the end of the kick. First down.
They got Drew Tranquil, one of their captains, the linebacker, with the hold, and that will move the football to the 46 of Miami. All of a sudden, this Notre Dame defense needs to make a stop. This isn't getting any more out of control. And they are facing a very confident junior quarterback, Malik Rozier, at the moment.
Keep in mind again, Notre Dame has not been in this kind of setting all year. Haven't trailed after the first quarter all year. This is uncharted waters.
Wildcat. You got Deejay Dallas, the running back, who's a high school quarterback, by the way, with Rozier out to the left, and Dallas is going to take off and fight for some yardage into Notre Dame territory.
You know, if you're a championship caliber team, and both these teams think that they are, and you're on the road and you're down 14-0, somebody's got to make a play. Somebody's got to be able to create a turnover, come up with a sack. Somebody's got to do something for Notre Dame if they're the team that they think they are.
Same look again as Dallas takes off out of the Wildcat. Bangs into a blocker, now gets free again. Deejay Dallas sets up Miami inside the 25. Got a block on the edge from the receiver, Thomas.
Yes, he did, and watched the right side of the offensive line here, too. Donaldson, St. Louis do a good job opening it up, and these receivers from Miami, they don't mess around when it comes to blocking. They get after it downfield.
Same look again. Rick says it's working. We're not going to change it. This time it's a run to the left by Dallas and a short gain. So Miami, 3 consecutive Wildcat plays. That's not a look we've seen from them, but a wrinkle from Rick and a very impressive opening quarter from the hosts. 14-0 Miami. End of 1. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Of the ACC on ESPN. The ACC Coastal Champion Hurricanes will take on Clemson in Charlotte December 2nd, but they're thinking bigger things. And the rowdy students who are shattering misconceptions that down here the students don't show up, the fans don't care. It's a big event town. And this is a big event, and I promise you, it is buzzing tonight.
All I know is back-to-back weeks, we've had a great crowd and great energy at Hard Rock Stadium.
Gains 143 yards in the opening quarter. Begin the second with a 2nd and 10. Threatening again. Rozier again takes off. Nobody accounting for the quarterback on these draw plays, and he gets down near the marker. Now Miami trying to finish the payback tour tonight, Kirk. They've already beaten the 3 teams that beat them last year. Notre Dame was their last loss before this 13-game winning streak, and this is a big deal for these Miami players. This board right here. And now Herndon in the flat. Muscles down inside the 10. Canes first and goal.
What Miami's doing a very good job of, we talked about keeping Notre Dame, trying to keep things in front of them. They're just getting the ball to their athletes, including the quarterback, and trying to make Notre Dame defend them in space. Whether it's the quarterback draw and going after the linebackers, getting the ball out to the outside. Now they're back into the red zone. 2 for 2 tonight for touchdowns.
Homer stacked up. You know, all the Notre Dame coaches, Mike Elko, the defensive coordinator, believe his side would have a real edge. They've kept less than half of opponents' red zone possessions from getting to the end zone. And Miami has been awful down here.
Exactly. That was, like I said, that's part of their plan was we're going to give up yards. They're going to get into the red zone, and we got to make them kick field goals. And Miami's been down there twice, and they've scored 2 touchdowns.
You would think they might spy the quarterback in this one.
Spy the quarterback and watch Berrios right here in the slot.
Throw far side, a miscommunication as Richards was again tied up with Julian Love, who's done a good job blanketing the top receiver for the Canes.
Yeah, Love just has a really good feel. I love watching. He gets a little peek at the quarterback, sees the quarterback with a quick play fake, knowing that the ball is coming out quickly. But as you said, Chris, Richards and Rozier just not on the same page.
And I say top receiver because Richards is the big play guy, the guy to look to for the shot plays downfield. But 0 for 4 in their targets for number 82 tonight. 3rd and goal. Irish sprint pressure. It's picked up. Rozier's pass is batted down and almost intercepted. A diving attempt by Jalen Elliott, but they forced the field goal. Miles Morgan, the linebacker, got a hand on it.
He sure did. They brought pressure off to the right. Morgan does a good job knocking that down. There were some open Miami wide receivers downfield. Berrios sneaking, and that's where he was trying to throw the ball all alone. Notre Dame rolling the dice, and it pays off for him there on that 3rd down by batting that ball down by the linebacker Morgan.
Badgley reliable, 11 for 11 inside 40 yards. This from 23. And a 48-yard field goal drive stretches it to 17-0. We've seen the turnover chain once tonight. Irish fans don't want to the home underdog Hurricanes with a 17-0 lead. Our Dr. Pepper Championship Drive game of the week. Michael Badgley, senior kicker, just tying the Miami career field goal record. He now shares it with Carlos Huerta, great kicker from the early 90s team. He's also chasing down Huerta's career point scoring record. Boots it away. And Sanders again will take a knee. Miami graduate Chris Felica, who did pick the Hurricanes in an upset in college game day this morning, but he always picks with the head, not the heart. And has the athletic trivia question for tonight. Chris?
Thanks, Chris. Of course, this is the 5th time since 1987 Miami and Notre Dame have met as top 10 opponents. All have come in the regular season. since '87, which two teams have met the most often in the regular season as top 10 opponents?
Ooh, I like the question. This is one you got to give us a minute. Well, some urgency, Kirk, for Notre Dame.
Big drive for the Irish and their offense.
And for Wimbush, personally, who hasn't had a completion since that opening drive. Josh Adams has not gotten on track, just 16 yards rushing. They feed it to him, and Josh around that vaunted left side of the offensive line gets across the 30.
He is known as a power back, but he's got sneaky speed when he gets to that second level. But he just has not been able to really be able to run downhill tonight into those linebackers.
Got it again, running left, and
it's very slow developing, and this Miami defense is playing too fast for the slow developing plays. It's that matchup we wanted to see. Who's going to win that matchup? Miami doesn't feel threatened. B. Delaney that time, a corner on the blitz. They're attacking that running game. They're begging Notre Dame, if you're going to come in here and beat us, you're going to have to throw the football. We're not going to let this running game beat us.
We'll see the call on 3rd and 6. Irish 2 for 6 so far tonight.
Man-to-man across the board.
Teams are showing some pressure up the middle.
They're going to spy.
Play clock at 4.
They're going to spy Wimbush. He's dangerous scramble here.
Got to hurry. Just get it off. And Wimbush under immediate pressure does take off. Shows the athletic ability. Fights near the marker at the 34. He will be just short. Trajan Bandy stopped him.
You knew the blitz was coming. You knew they would spy. They tried it with Zach McLeod. He actually avoided him, made him miss. Wimbush, typically, he tries to work through his progressions. It's an area that he's been improving. There was the spy. He made him miss. But Brian Kelly senses some urgency, the importance of this drive deep in his own territory. 4th and about half a yard. He thinks he wants to go for it.
This is a serious gamble. Kelly's kind of going all in on 4th and 1. And a flag before the snap. About 3 or 4 of them. Now I'm hearing that a timeout was called by Notre Dame before the snap.
If so, did they ever catch a break?
There is no foul. Before the snap, timeout was called by Notre Dame. Their first timeout of the half.
What about this decision? Down 17, your own 35.
And they're talking collectively. See Brian Polian, the special teams coordinator, in there as well. So they're talking it over.
We'll see what the decision is after this quick break.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Walmart, is brought to you by Ford, going further so you can. And Pacific Life. Experience the power of Pacific.
A salute to our veterans around the world on this Veterans Week on ABC and ESPN, brought to you by USAA. After the timeout, Kirk, the Irish offense is on the field. They need about half a yard from their 34.5.
Keep in mind, we showed you earlier with that injury to the left hand. He looks like he's going to take a snap under center. You would think his quarterback sneak would be a great call, but the last time we showed you, he was taking a snap with one hand.
Adams is the back in the I formation. An early gamble from Kelly. Adams got it. And fights and battles and stretches for first down yardage across the 35.
How about this Notre Dame offensive line? They've been blowing people off the ball all year. These linebackers from Miami are getting downhill. The defensive linemen are getting off blocks. Adams, very fortunate to pick up that first down.
They put a tight end, Brock Wright, in his fullback, typical, and motion another one, Wisher. Adams, again, trying to run left, but they have had their way all season long, but not tonight. R.J. McIntosh was in there.
Watch the quickness of McIntosh. He's backside. This has been happening all game. Watch how quick he's shooting gaps. I mean, they're penetrating, and it's not always on the play side, it's the backside. Miami doing such a good job of blowing these plays up before they even have a chance to get started. Notre Dame, it just feels too slow, the execution.
This is Jones, has some space around the left side, a rare positive running play. And he sets up a 3rd and short as we kick it back to Cassidy. We'll keep you posted. Meanwhile, Cassidy, third down. Adams not going to get there. Another slow developing play, and Delaney came off the edge.
Absolutely. It's the guy. It's the defensive pressure, whether they shoot a gap or they close from the edge. This time it's Pinckney, 56, the linebacker. See Thomas come down there and get involved as well. Notre Dame again. They're going to go for it. And instead of being under center, he's going to be back in the shotgun.
They need a full yard here on fourth down. And another whistle and a false start on the Irish offense, which will make this a 4th and 6.
Looks like Robert Hainsey, the true freshman right tackle.
And the crowd congratulating itself. They feel that they played a part in that penalty.
They did. And that's part of being on the road in a true hostile environment that Brian Kelly's team's trying to get a handle on. Watch the right tackle, the movement right there. He's a true freshman, so it's a different feel than playing at home in South Bend against Wake.
He's a true freshman. There's a whole bunch of experienced All-American NFL draft prospect offensive linemen on this Irish team. They have been whipped up front by a Canes defensive front that was challenged by their coaches all week. And now Barrios from the 25 darts for about an 11-yard return. And Malik Rozier and the Canes back on the field trying to stretch this lead. Bring back the bear for the answer to the Affleck trivia question. I'm going to throw out Florida State versus Miami just to have an answer on the board.
Mr. Fowler, tonight's Affleck trivia question.
Wow.
The answer is indeed
well
Miami.
Done.
Florida State met 13 times in the regular season. Also met once in a bowl game. Little bit of history maybe tonight, by the way. 1, 2, and 3 in the AP poll have never lost in the same week. Number 2, Georgia already down. Number 1, Alabama losing. Number 3, Notre Dame losing.
Wow. Trivia answer and a bonus from the bear right there. Miami takes over at the 36. And short gain on the right side from Homer. Interesting year in the state of Florida, Kirk, with the Noles and the Gators down there combined 12 losses. Scott Frost and UCF undefeated, highest scoring offense in the country. And how about what Butch is doing at Florida International, and you got Kiffin at Florida Atlantic.
What Butch Davis has been able to do at FIU is incredible. And same thing, you're right. Incredible. Lane Kiffin, what he's done in his first year there as a head coach.
It's Davis visiting Kiffin's team next week. All you can drink beer night. I kid you not. Devala Harris makes the catch there. It's $20 gets you in the game and all the beer you can drink. What could possibly go wrong in a college football game with that promotion? Meanwhile, Miami with the short gain there by the infrequently used Dale Harris.
It's a big third down for Notre Dame's defense. The last thing they can afford is Miami putting another touchdown potentially up on the board and getting down 24-0. The Irish need a stop if they have plans of getting back into this game. They get Miami to third down, they got to get them off the field. Showing pressure. They'll bail out of it.
Rozier steps up, delivers over the middle. It's dropped. That was Harris who had a chance to move the sticks. The Irish get the stop.
The plan to attack the middle of the field has worked unless they just drop the ball. They are exploiting the linebackers in space. When they want to be able to make throws inside there, when they want to run the quarterback draw, they've been able to do it. That time he just dropped the ball.
Missed opportunity for Miami. And now Fiegels to think. On the bounce, it will roll dead at the 7-yard line. So the Irish in a big hole here in the second quarter. Take over, pin back.
Well, Brandon Wimbush got off to a pretty good start, but since then it's been a challenge. 0 for his last 6. He missed a shot early to St. Brown for a touchdown. His footwork on a couple throws has been bad. That ball just down on him. This time he's off balance. Ball sails. This was the interception by Jaquan Johnson that led to another touchdown for Miami. You can see his face. This game right now looks like it's moving very fast for Brandon Wimbush, and he's pinned deep inside his own Close to his own goal line right now.
He hasn't really had that look since the loss to Georgia, has he? Looks to throw on first down, delivers high, intercepted. Malik Young looking for a block, spun down inside the 10 as the turnover chain will make its second appearance tonight, and Notre Dame in deep trouble now.
We just, there's the chain. And there's Malik Young, who had a big pick last week. Chris, we just put a package together talking about how he's been erratic. He had 2 interceptions on the year coming into tonight. He's got 2 interceptions already tonight in 10 attempts. But we talked about how he's off balance. That ball just sailed on him. Receiver is open. Tried to put a little bit extra on it. Ball sails, and Young is waiting right there for the interception. And now here goes Miami with a big chance to put a big score up.
First and goal from the 9 can be very challenging, especially for an offense that struggled. But Rozier thinking, get 7. Again, looks to take off. That time ran into traffic, but escapes for a short gain as we take you back to the interception there by Young.
See, watch him put a little bit on it, and by doing that, the ball is just high. Malik Young is good job of being ready. And see that ball just did not come out clean. Receiver that time, Claypool just didn't have a chance. Way too high. Claypool's a tall receiver at 6'4". He's got to just settle down. I mean, they got to get back to maybe that script they had on the first drive. Some easier high percentage throws, which that actually was, just to try to get him that look back. His eyes right now don't look good to me.
The freshman Dallas back in the Wildcat position on 2nd and goal. And sometimes you get a Wildcat quarterback in there.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
We did play quarterback in high school. You forget to see the play clock, and they didn't catch it on the Miami sideline, so that'll make it even more difficult.
Yeah. Not a lot of urgency there, getting the ball snapped.
It's the first penalty for Miami.
Miami's got to find a one-on-one matchup that they like. Langham is to the top, 81, and he's a big target in this area at 6'4". You can see they're covering now Barrows. They've got a couple different defenders over top of him, so it would be smarter to go back into the boundary.
Rozier buying time and fires it out of bounds. Quick pressure from the Irish. It was Dalen Hayes who's been trying to battle through a tender ankle, making the play that time.
It was a much better job of coverage downfield. He had nowhere to go with that football. Notre Dame, better adjustments, took everything away, and pretty smart play by Rozier. Instead of forcing it, he just threw that ball away. Give him a chance here on 3rd down. Again, they're moving that safety, Elliott, right over here to deal with this. Barrios.
3rd and goal. Rozier for the end zone. Incomplete. Tried to fire a dart to Langham, the clutch receiver you mentioned, but here comes another field goal attempt.
It's a big stop by Notre Dame's defense. I mean, you intercept the ball. Miami's in the red zone to start this drive. I'd say it's the 2nd time on that series that they just had. They had about 8 guys in coverage. They took all the passing lanes away from him, and they forced Miami to have to settle for a field goal.
So Badgley just tied the school career record for field goals with Carlos Huerta, can now take it all himself, this 30-yarder. And the record is his. Notre Dame's defense does make a stand. Miami converts the 2nd interception tonight to just 3. And if you remember, fans of these two teams, last year up in South Bend, it was a 20-0 lead for the home team. Notre Dame seemed to have things under control. Miami roared back for 27 straight points before the Irish rallied for 10 points in the last 6 minutes. So nothing for granted here, but this has a very different feel than what most people expected tonight, including Brian Kelly.
You're right, and Notre Dame, most of this year, they've been able to control things with their running game. They can always fall back on the running game to be able to get Brandon Wimbush better opportunities with play action. they're not able to run the football. Only 40 yards so far. And a lot of their runs have just been too slow in developing. And Miami's speed has been able to negate that. And it's put a lot on Wimbush to be able to try to get it done in the passing game.
We talked to McGlinchey and Nelson. You were up there. You get the feeling they are stunned that they've been dominated up front so far?
Of course, but you're a competitor. You think it's going to change, and it could. But they've got to be able to get a couple first downs to kind of get their mojo back right now.
5:56 to work with to try to cut into this lead. Your NFL Sunday begins with Sunday NFL Countdown at ESPN, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. All access with the Lions wide receiver Marvin Jones. And then Monday Night Football. The Dolphins play their home games here, of course, at Hard Rock. Take on the Panthers in Charlotte. Also available in Spanish on ESPN2. And a quarterback change as Ian Book, the sophomore, who has earned the trust of this team in his brief appearances, spelling the rattle Wimbush.
More consistency from the passing from Book, and the ball comes out very quick. He makes quick decisions, gets the ball out.
And a handoff for a keep on the edge there by Pinckney. He was run down.
Welcome to the ball game, my friend Ian Book. There's Michael Pinckney, middle linebacker, able to chase him down and hit him. And actually, Chris, that's probably the best thing that could have happened to Ian Book. Standing over there, charting plays, helping when Brandon Wimbush would come to the sideline. Best thing that could happen, get a big hit like that and just settle into the game. Guy could throw the football.
The sophomore from California did start the Carolina game. Got to win and feed Adams. And I'll tell you what, if you got this guy in this offensive line and you can't make any hay on the ground, it's going to be a long night.
The battle in the trenches was advertised all week. Who would win that battle? Right now, it's no contest. And we're not even talking about the Miami linebackers. We're talking about Norton and Thomas and McIntosh and Joe Jackson.
And now a brand new quarterback coming in cold, facing this crowd and this defense needing 8 on third down.
Here they come.
And they swarm him. Book escapes and just heaves it into the bench. He did get it across the line of scrimmage. Shaq Quarterman storming in from his linebacker position. Punt team coming out.
Now the pressure, they walked up. They're showing it right here. They're coming and coming after him, trying to make him feel uncomfortable. They get to him. It's the freshman Bandy, and eventually he just throws it away. How about Manny Diaz? Great job of feeling, hey, they got a young quarterback in there, hasn't taken a lot of reps. Perfect time to dial up pressure, get him off the field on a 3-and-out.
To add to their problems, the Irish punt team hadn't been that strong tonight. Newsom's kicked the ball low and allowed Berrios returns. This is a better kick, and Berrios, even though he had a whole lot of space, signals fair catch at the 32 and is frustrated by that decision.
Mississippi State, I don't know if they're still up on Alabama, but imagine if Georgia goes down and Alabama goes down, and who knows if Miami ends up winning this game, like Bear said, 1, 2, and 3 go down. Committee will have a lot of fun putting those rankings together next week.
Still some football to be played, but if that happens, we'll have a nice conversation later tonight. Good luck with your top 4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rozier, play action, delivers across the middle, and the catch is made by Lawrence Cager. The rangy receiver moves the ball into Irish territory.
Nice job of play action. Linebackers coming up, trying to take away the run. 1st and 10. Break a tendency, get the linebackers up, make the easy throw to the big receiver. 6'5", nice big target.
17 yards, just Cager's 9th catch of the season. Now they go far side. Berrios stumbled a bit as he caught the ball, picks up 3.
Remember, Mike Elko came into this game thinking, hey, let's throw that umbrella out. Let's not let anything get behind us. We're going to give up some passes underneath. Now he's down by 20s. Wonder if he sticks with that plan or gets a little bit more aggressive. So far, sticking with the plan, giving up some of those underneath throws.
And they think up at far side, Herndon knocked down. Elko coming from Wake Forest, where his defense is renowned for disrupting with the pass rush and takeaways. 2 areas that Kelly knew he had to fix from last year.
That's exactly right. He's done an incredible job of being able to get this defense to play with confidence. Big 3rd down here again.
Playing with some tempo. They need two. Homer picks his way, battling and fighting, and he'll be stopped a yard short by Tavon Coney. So it's 4th down. Decision time for Rick from the Irish 40. Playing fast.
Going quick. There they go.
Notre Dame not even lined up.
Yep.
And a whistle before the snap, and Notre Dame's sideline calling a timeout as they saw their guys were not ready for that 4th down play.
Before the snap, timeout was called by Notre Dame. Their 2nd timeout of the half, 32nd timeout.
So Rick trying to stretch the lead before halftime here, trying to add to this 20-0 lead. The college football playoff rankings brought to you by Goodyear. There will be changes. You can count on that because of what happened on the plains at Auburn today.
Yeah, look at all three.
No, it's tough to go on the road in college football in November against good teams.
Sure is. Clemson at 31-14. We watched that game. That was a very, very close game. Score not.
That was a 17-14 lead. The Noles had the ball trying to drive for the lead, and there was an interception thrown by Blackman. Oklahoma, very convincing start, by the way, against TCU at home. Norman.
Yeah, watching Oklahoma play, it's almost like your other sport, tennis. Like if you don't break a serve or two, you're not going to catch up with it.
Rick deciding not to go for it, sends out the punt team. So Kelly, by calling that timeout, perhaps gave his team a chance to cut into the lead before halftime. The high kick by Fiegels. He's very good at that. Fair cut inside the 10. Goodyear bringing you these beautiful aerial pictures. When Mother Nature blitzes, you'll need the very best traction on and off the field. You'll need weather ready. Goodyear, more driven. The Irish, Kirk, held to 73 total yards, just 43 of those on the ground. 24 by Adams.
And it seems like every time they start a drive, it's inside their own 20-yard line. Every drive. Other than the first drive, they've not been able to flip the field. And when you're down 20, it's hard enough. But to try to call plays when you're down 20, backed up by your own goal line.
2:47 before the Capital One halftime report. Two-back look for the Irish. Book still in the game. Adams still trying to get wide, and the Canes still stacking him up. That was Zach McLeod knocking him down.
He doesn't show me enough speed to be able to run wide against the speed of the Miami defense. And I know he missed last week. He wasn't able to play, and I don't know the reason. They talked about he got hit in the head, but no concussion issue. He just doesn't look like he's got enough juice to run against this defense.
Cuts it back. Adams picking his way. Still looking for that at-home run. He's been the top back in the country for those long touchdown runs. Hasn't come close tonight.
And the reason he is the offensive line in most of their games where they've been successful, they open up big holes, and it allows a big back to run downhill. Then he's a handful. He hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities to do that tonight against Miami.
On 3rd and 1, Book looks to throw, and a completion in the flat as they do move the sticks. Kevin Stefferson makes his second catch tonight.
A really good feel by a backup quarterback, Ian Book. So run-pass option. He felt right away that hang player, which was Zach McLeod, was cheating down into that run game too much. So he pulled it out real quick and got it out there for the first down. Good read.
Irish with one timeout, approaching a minute 30. Book from the pocket. Throws downfield to St. Brown and makes a catch and is knocked down near midfield. So the backup is now sparking this offense.
That's a tight window between the corner who's up tight and the safety who's coming over. Michael Jackson rides him, pushes him, doesn't get actually a really good job of getting his hands on him, which allowed St. Brown to get behind him before that safety came over. And Book had to put it on a line to give St. Brown a chance to get down and protect himself.
And feed Tony Jones. The middle is clogged, and the Irish here will not spend the timeout, but need to play. Well, they will call their final timeout here as we check back in with Cassidy Hubbard for an update.
Thanks, Chris. And you guys were talking about Oklahoma being in control versus TCU. A big reason, Rodney Anderson. Baker Mayfield finds him here for the TD catch. He also has 2 rushing scores and more than 180 total yards in the first half. Oklahoma up 31-14. Back to you guys.
All right, Anderson healthy gives that offense just such a different look. Everybody talks about Baker Mayfield with Oklahoma. They average over 300 yards passing, but it's 200 yards running as well. So it starts with their running game and those backs. Such a complete unit on that side of the ball.
Up 17, but I'm not sure everything's ever in total control in the Big 12. We'll keep an eye on that game, but a very impressive start for the Sooners offense.
Right, so Notre Dame, they're out of timeouts, got a minute 11. You got a backup quarterback that's starting to get settled in here. And they're looking a little bit better offensively. And I really think Tony Jones brings a little bit more twitch and a little bit more quickness to this running game than what we've seen so far from Josh Adams. I like seeing him in there, 34.
Sophomore from St. Petersburg. He's behind Book. They fake it to him. Book has to elude pressure. He's got room to run. He's not Wimbush fast, but he's a pretty good athlete, and he scoots for a first down inside the 45.
Yeah, that was a good job of feeling that. He did a really good job of stepping up because Joe Jackson was coming around in the sophomore, ready to come up with another sack on the year, but he was able to use his strength to get away from him and then step up and get some good yards. He got out of bounds.
They move from their 8 to the Miami 42. Book again under pressure. Low throw. Catch made by Jones. He's knocked down inbound, so the clock is running.
Yeah, good hands. Another thing about Tony Jones, he has wide receiver hands. But you're right, he stays inbounds and need a little bit more urgency here from Book.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Did not find the sidelines. Book climbs the pocket. Delivers a downfield throw, and a danger jump ball incomplete. Almost a second interception tonight for Malik Young.
Yeah, he's got to air that out. Throw that as far and as high as he can and let his receiver get underneath that. Okay, Stepherson does a good job to come back to knock that ball away from Malik Young, who almost came up with that second interception. If he put that up in the air, because Stepherson got behind Young, he's got a chance to make a play on that ball. Underthrowing.
A look we did not expect to see. An Irish offense, as Miami calls a timeout on defense here, led by Josh Adams and Brandon Wimbush into this game. And now Wimbush has been hooked for Ian Book, who's provided a spark, and Adams, who we don't think he looks himself. He's not really contributed tonight. So all of a sudden you got backups forced into duty, down 20 on the road, and juiced up crowd.
But I tell you, Ian Book has brought a little something to the offense, and that's what I was talking about. When you're on the ropes and you're on the road against a team that is really playing with confidence, you obviously need a stop from the defense. They've had a few of those, and then you need an offense that can come up with a couple first downs to all of a sudden be able to say, fellas, hey, we're in this thing. This isn't over. We got a whole nother half. They try to get a field goal here, maybe a touchdown, and it's a different game.
Are you surprised by the decision to lift Wimbush? Do you agree with it?
Based on what we saw from him after the first drive, I think you do it now. If you wait too long, it's too late. I talked about the look in his eyes. He just didn't look comfortable.
Faces a 3rd and 6. Adams is back in the game. Book delivers a dart. Intercepted. Look out. Trajan Bandy, the true freshman. Break out the chain again. A disastrous play for the backup quarterback. 3 first-half interceptions for Miami's defense.
They said, there it is.
First time for him.
Shane, the first time, and they say he is a future superstar as a true freshman.
66 yards on the pick 6, and Miami is putting a beat down on the Irish.
Okay, Chris, this is being well schooled and well prepared by this defensive staff. He's out here, but he has a feel. There's going to be a quick slant that goes in front of him. It's going to come here, but he's reading this. The quarterback telegraphed the pass, and he got a jump on it right there. By reading his quarterback's eyes, having eyes on the quarterback, it allows him to get a little bit of a head start and anticipate the throw. He jumped the route, looking at that quarterback, and makes a huge play again for the Canes defense.
Notre Dame's last visit to this building, they came in as the #1 team against Alabama in the BCS championship game, a first-round knockout. They looked completely overmatched that night, beginning to feel a little bit like that tonight as Kelly tries to calm down Book. "17 points off those 3 takeaways. Trajan Bandy wearing that chain for the first time in his career. Definitely not for the last. I agree with you. This guy's a future star. Playing the nickel, a local guy.
Bandy and Amari Carter, a couple of true freshmen. Mark Richt is his first couple of years recruiting very well. They already are full this year with their verbal commitments on recruiting.
But there's such a confidence and a swagger. You can say it's the chain that sparked it, but they don't care what the opponents have done all season long. The Hokies hadn't been turnover prone, far from it. But they came in here 4 takeaways. The Irish had taken care of the ball beautifully all season long.
Yeah.
Against Diaz's group, doesn't matter.
No. Yeah, I mean, that's what Notre Dame, that's how they've been able to win games, is the turnover margin. They're plus 12. They're 4th in the country coming into tonight. That's been an area, not only have they been okay, that's a strength, is taking care of the football.
These folks walked in here hoping it was hyped up, energized. Now it's become a party here. 22 seconds before halftime. Miami will get the ball to begin the second half. And after some hesitation, Sanders is going to run it out and be knocked down short of the 20 with 16 seconds in the half. Wow.
You start to go through all the teams that are up in the top 5 or top 8. We were talking about this on a bus today, watching all these teams. Is there really a great team out there? I mean, is there, after watching this first half, it's pretty easy to say this team looks like they could be a great team. But as we've watched 8 or 9, 10 weeks of football, everybody has a weakness. Miami making a case for not only making it in the top 4, maybe Miami the best team in the country.
Can you imagine saying that 2 weeks ago? It was Adams knocked down. This was the team that was the lowest ranked Power 5 unbeaten team coming into that Virginia Tech game. They felt disrespected. They had some narrow escapes. They didn't look great, but you talk about peaking at the second half of the season, growing in confidence by leaps and bounds every game. Wow. Kelly's team reeling after 30 minutes.
And playing here with this crowd, you talk about home field advantage. Man, this is a tough place for anybody to come in.
Now let's get Mark Richt's thoughts on this first half with Maria Taylor.
All right, Coach, you had 3 picks in the first half. You take 1 to the house. How has your defense set the tone in the first half?
They're doing awesome. It's about time they scored. I've been waiting for that all year.
What about your offense? You had to settle for 2 field goals. What's the difference between 7 and 3?
On the board. That's good. We got 2 touchdowns, too. You forget those?
I did, I think, Coach. Over to you, Chris.
He's having fun.
Yeah, I think everybody in the building wearing orange and green is having fun. Miami, 194 total yards. It's a modest total, but the defense just setting the tone with 3 takeaways, 17 points off the turnovers as we go to Tom Rinaldi to get Brian Kelly's thoughts.
Chris, thanks. Brian, as challenging a first half as you can have, what's the first thing you tell your team about how to try to get back in it?
Well, let's fight. You know, let's have some grit and some toughness. And, you know, it's great to say that, but you got to take care of the football. And we've turned the football over. We haven't done that all year, and there's silly turnovers. So we've got to clean that up. And you know, obviously we can be gritty and be tough in the second half, but we got to take care of the football.
What precipitated the quarterback change, Brian?
Well, we weren't throwing the ball very well. We weren't making good decisions, and so we tried to get a little something there with Ian, and then we made another poor decision. So got to go back. We got to coach better in the second half, and we got to play better.
Appreciate the time. Thanks, Brian.
So out of sync, out of character, and 27 points down at halftime here in a raucous Hard Rock Stadium. End of the first half. Stay tuned for the Capital One halftime report right after these messages. Runner, but the Miami defense has set the tone with 3 interceptions, setting up 17 points.
They have been having, we've had fun with the turnover chain, but it continues tonight. Really, the last 3 or 4 games, they seem like they have been being able to attack, and they're just playing with a whole different level of confidence and buying into what Manny Diaz wants from them. They came in incredibly well prepared, and the size of Notre Dame, the size of their running back, Josh Adams, is first half, they lost to the speed and the violent approach for the Miami defense.
It's an offense for Notre Dame that had its second most productive day ever, and it's a long history. 710 yards against Wake Forest, held to 139 by the Hurricanes in the first half. This is Jeff Thomas, the speedy freshman receiver, not able to get past Frankel. Makes a nice tackle at the 10-yard line. The Pacific Life game summary looks at the start by Rozier. Look at this beautiful touchdown throw to Braxton Berrios in the corner.
Yeah, and early in the game, you make throws like that, you're in a zone. You feel good about what you're doing. I thought his ability to run the football really got this offense going, made the Notre Dame defense have to be aware of that. And we just talked about when we came back to start this second half, the Canes defense, 15 takeaways in their last 14 quarters. 12 of those are interceptions, and Bandy, of course, the pick 6.
On the kickoff return, there's an injured Kane down on the field. We'll get his report as we check in with Maria Taylor.
Well, Chris, I asked Mark Richt exactly what he told his team in order to hold on to that momentum, and he said it was very unique in the locker room. He didn't have to say anything. All of his seniors just stepped up and started talking. Now, he didn't say specifically which seniors led that charge, but he did say that one thing he's noticed is that he's always had great leadership, but now he is seeing it really manifest itself in the locker room, and all he had to do was pray over his team and send them back out on the field. Tom?
Marie, you talk about leadership and it being challenged. You go up and down this Notre Dame sideline. The senior leaders, like the graduate student, in fact, Mike McGlinchey, who is really one of the linchpins when it comes to the voices of this team, going up and down and challenging his fellow players to show some fight and show some mettle, really echoing what Brian Kelly told us on the way into the locker room. Kirk, you like to say you find out a lot about a team's character when things get this dire and this difficult. Who continues to fight? We're going to see this get measured here in the second half.
Yeah, Tom, we always look for that in these type of games. You're exactly right. Love to hear the players talking about it from Notre Dame, not just the head coach.
Leaders in both locker rooms delivering the appropriate message. Good shot of McGlinchey there. Face red, drenched with sweat. This Irish offensive line, filled with future NFL prospects, has had a tough night so far. This big Quentin Nelson, captain, guard, lines up next to McGlinchey. For the Canes, from their 10, Rozier retreats to the end zone and fires into traffic. That was a dangerous throw, and a catch made for the loss of a yard by Homer.
Really good job there by Notre Dame's defense, kind of feeling that out. It's a different energy, of course, to start this second half in his stadium. I think a big part of what impacted Notre Dame negatively was just the stadium and the Miami team feeding off of the crowd. And if Notre Dame has any desire to get back into this game, they need a quick stop to get the ball back to their offense.
Homer on the delay, busts in a crease, and they'll move the sticks across the 20-yard line. He's been contained tonight as a runner.
Yeah, but I think he shows you time after time. Little delay here, counter. They get the tight end Herndon out in front. This is really good execution. The freshman also, Donaldson leading the way. Good feel. Being able to cut that back, and then you get him with his speed into that second level. He's going to pick up big yards, and that time he gets the first down. All the talk about Walton going down, what's Miami going to do? And what are they going to do? And it's a big loss, but Travis Homer is, I think, let all the Miami Hurricane fans understand when he's back there, he's going to run with an attitude, runs angry.
He's got it again. Homer in the clear. Travis Homer downfield blocking. He stumbles on his own and will fall down at the Notre Dame 37, and the Canes are marching again.
Anytime a Miami runner gets out in the open field, you're going to see the receivers downfield blocking. That's great execution up front. Like I said, with his suddenness and quickness, he gets on those linebackers and safeties in a hurry.
To the 40-yard run, they play with some tempo, and Jay Hayes knocks him down for a short loss.
Give you an idea
shows that strength you talked about.
How strong he is. He runs through tackles. He's got a stiff arm that helps him. He just pushes away Nick Coleman, the safety.
Homer getting a breather now, and Deejay Dallas, who said he was a converted receiver into running back to give some depth there. We've seen him as a Wildcat quarterback.
You know, you have big runs like that. You start to make the linebackers and safeties be aware of what you can do running the ball. Now their eyes are in that backfield and sets up some play action opportunities, some one-on-one chances on the outside.
Dallas wrestles, breaks through one tackle, is knocked down back at the original line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and long.
The Notre Dame linebackers have been a strength of this defense all year long. The scheme that they play, the defensive linemen eat up the offensive linemen, and the linebackers make plays. Tonight, it's been a totally different story. What's been a strength has been exposed tonight, mainly in the pass game.
Jerry Tillery, the big 6'6" nose tackle, one stopper, one of their best guys up front, is down on the field being looked at by the athletic trainers as we take a timeout. Miami on the march trying to add to this big lead.
Welcome back to the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
Thank you, Larry. Canes have taken the second half kickoff and moved it 52 yards in 5 plays. Now they face a 3rd and 11 at the Notre Dame 37.
Notre Dame's got to get pressure here from Hayes, Okwara, two of their better pass rushers off the edge.
Rozier's not been sacked, Kirk, and rarely has he been hit or pressured.
Softer coverage up top.
And anytime the play clock allowing these pre-snap adjustments by the quarterback. Fake it to Homer. Rozier is dragged down. Not fooled on the play was Dalen Hayes, and it's 4th down.
The sophomore has tremendous speed. You mentioned he's got an ankle that's wrapped. He sustained a little bit of an injury to that left ankle in practice. He stayed home and showed that discipline. 6'3" and 260 pounds, plays with pretty good quickness. They're going to go for it.
Yeah, quick snap there, and under pressure, Rozier lofts it downfield to Cager, who makes a catch inside the 10. A 4th down conversion as they beat the fine corner, Julian Love.
And Rozier holds on to the ball to the very last second, and Cager is 6'5", and he goes up and over Love at 5'11". The great thing there by Rozier is he put it up high in the air for the tall receiver.
And now Homer, as they get back in the red zone, they grabbed his face mask. That'll move it half the distance. Like Jay Hayes grabbed a hold of the running back's mask there.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 93. After distance to the ball, penalty, 1st down.
So a 28-yard pitch and catch on 4th and 9.
Well, he puts this ball so high, and look at Cager time this up. Well, we're so used to talking about Richards and Jeff Thomas, the true freshman. Of course, Braxton Berrios, the tight end, Herndon. Langham makes plays, and now it's Lawrence Cager, the sophomore, who goes up and over Notre Dame's best cover corner, Love.
So that 4th down conversion, the face mask penalty, makes it 1st and goal inside the 5. And here hit as he throws. Ball comes out incomplete. Drew Tranquil pressured him, and it was ruled that his arm was coming forward. First time it really affected the quarterback in that way tonight.
They brought pressure. Tranquil up at the top. Nobody picks him up. That's something that Notre Dame does. When you get you into that red zone, they're going to dial up pressure. Totally different scheme from what they do out in the field versus the red zone. Tranquil has been a kind of an outside linebacker, safety, nickel, plays that hybrid position.
And Rick out on the field to spend a timeout to talk about this 2nd and goal play. Miami could find itself very much in the playoff picture. What a day this would be for the program. They already clinched the ACC Coastal earlier today because Virginia, the other team that was in play, lost on the road to Louisville. So for the first time, they'll play for the ACC title in this 2-division format in Charlotte against Clemson. But this game was nothing to do with that. This was about trying to step into the playoff conversation. And Mark Richt and the coaches did not shy away from that talk with their team.
Not at all. No, and I think the reason is he senses a hunger and a maturity that they can handle that and not let things get sideways. And they're not going to lose their focus. It's a program that has so much pride. And Mark Richt, as a former player, has done a really good job in his first couple years. I'm not talking about swag and not talking about attitude or the Canes back. He just talks about going to work and finding guys that love to compete. And that's why this team is sitting where they are right now.
Ed Reed, one of the many legends that Rick has welcomed back into the fold, and he has enjoyed this performance by the Canes defense from the sidelines. One of your favorite.
One of my favorite of all time, guys that I've covered in the years I've been doing this. About as competitive a guy as I've ever seen.
5 pick sixes. And 2nd and goal. Dallas is the running back to Rozier's right. He's got it. Trying to get the edge. Cuts back, dives to the pylon, touchdown! And the Canes build the lead. High fives from Ed Reed, and a miserable night for Notre Dame in South Florida, just getting worse by the minute.
Nice to see when Homer goes down that Deejay Dallas has shown his coaches in practice that he's ready to be that backup running back, a high school quarterback, a wide receiver. He gets to the corner, the progressive pylon cam. Look at that speed that he has.
That is serious style points for his first career touchdown.
Well, he's a great tandem, becoming a great tandem to Homer out of that backfield.
Again, shifted from receiver to running back as the Canes make and do just fine without their alpha on offense. Mark Walton, 34-0. Notre Dame faithful, well represented in our armed forces here and abroad. Our coverage of Veterans Week on ABC and ESPN, brought to you by USAA. Some long faces. Notre Dame has plenty of fans in this area. They always travel well, enticed by the warm climate here in November. But it has been anything but memorable in a positive way for the Notre Dame fans tonight. 34-0 as the Canes move it 86 yards in 9 plays, 4.5 minutes to stretch the lead. And check in with Cassidy Hubbard, a dramatic finish in Starkville.
That's right, Chris. 25 seconds left. Tie ball game. Devontae Smith with his first catch of the day, and it was the biggest of the game for the Tide as he gets in for the 26-yard score. Alabama survives 31-24 in Starkville. Back to you.
Survives is the exact word, Cassidy, although Saban no doubt will have some things to say to his team and the press afterwards. So number 2 does survive. Number 1 Georgia went down. Number 3 Notre Dame in deep trouble as Brandon Wimbush returns at quarterback for Notre Dame. Tries to get Adams going. He is tracked down, hit early by Chad Thomas and wrestled down. Nothing doing for 33 tonight.
That play has been really the night for this Notre Dame offense. This has been a battle at the line of scrimmage that Miami has won. They've disrupted the timing when they pulled. Watch the quickness and watch the speed of that Miami defense. Not only play side, but backside here with Chad Thomas bringing it down. Entire night. Miami defensive line led by R.J. McIntosh, Kendrick Norton, Chad Thomas, Joe Jackson. That front four has played well all night long for Manny Diaz.
Josh Adams was slow to get up and walks to the sidelines for the Irish after losing 6 yards on that play. It's a Miami defensive front that's playing without Demetrius Jackson. Take another look at the tackle. He was hit really hard from behind. Legs were a little awkward there. And again, he played only a limited role against Wake Forest last week. 5 carries, was out in the first quarter. They said it was not a concussion, but he just wasn't right. Doesn't look right tonight. They swing it near side, and the catch is made by Claypool, and Shaq Fordham and the linebackers right there.
You know, obviously hope Josh Adams is going to be okay. And after last week and then tonight, this offense and its scheme, just from the very beginning, I said, just too slow in developing against the relentless pursuit of the Miami defense. They're not letting up either, Chris.
It's a running game that's mauled most everybody. Gained 325 yards a game on the ground. They have 71 right now. 3rd and 13. Wimbush flips it short, and the low throw makes it awkward for Alize Mack. The tight end stumbles there, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, they bring in the blitz again on 3rd down. They bring just one too many on the outside here, and they get free. It's a good time to try to set up a screen, but the ball is low, and really no chance for Mack at all on 3rd down and long. Miami seems like they have 15 guys on defense. they're playing with 11, right?
I think they're only allowed 11, but I get your point.
They're everywhere.
You know, they've been all over the Irish offense on 3rd down, just 3 for 12. And the punt by Newsom is his best of the night and drives Berrios back to the 30. But Miami making a strong statement here tonight.
For Notre Dame.
That might have been an understatement. 58-7. That's what ignited that 4-year run. The Catholics versus convicts, the venom, the vitriol that Irish fans had for Miami, and that 58-7 beatdown. We're not there yet. It is 34-0, and the Canes trying to add to it. Homer testing the right side, will be knocked down for a short loss. Of course, down here in Miami, which never fully bought into the Catholics versus convicts, this mural in the Wynwood section, in an artsy area known for its street art there, Catholics versus confidence, and they've shown that from the start tonight.
It's a pretty good effort.
Love it.
I mean, that's impressive.
That's a lot of work too. There's an artistry in that get up on the shoulder pads and the face.
Kind of like the Oakland Raiders fan.
She has a job, you presume, and a family, but look, representing that. This is like the old Orange Bowl right here. So
it really is.
They might have been around at the old Horseshoe in Little Havana back in the day, from the looks of it. Homer, this time he tries the left side, gets a little crease and a burst and a 1st down across the 40.
I mean, the play calling has changed for Mark Richt. He's happy about that one. I mean, when you're up by 34, you're not only trying to put points on the board, you're obviously trying to work clock too. And that's when they're relying now on Homer. Coming into tonight, I think they really were confident that Rozier could make plays through the air if they needed to. And if you look at the numbers, I mean, they have 290 yards of offense. It's not a huge night offensively, but it's really been more about the turnovers and what they've been able to do when they've been able to get those turnovers.
Now they're gaining 6.5 yards a play, though. Perfect balance, Kirk. 22 passes, 22 runs. There's a catch by Harris and a short gain. And they'd rush for 152. And now thrown for about 143. So you can't get more balance than that.
Sure.
And Richt is a play caller. I remember stepping back into the role this year, calling the plays for years at Florida State, but really is enjoying it and feeling his way. I think he's kind of knocking the rust off as a play caller as this season has unfolded. I think he'd admit that.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think the biggest thing with him is he looks like he's back to having fun again. You know,
I can tell you that he is. And they were not fun years at Georgia at the end. He admits that. He was miserable. Harris on the end around. That is snuffed out, and the Irish drop him for a loss. I mean, he's even shown some dance moves after a victory. I mean, is that Mark Richt at Georgia? Is that the same?
No, that wasn't Mark Richt at Georgia. Mark Richt at Georgia was like, wipe the brow, survived another week. Let's move to the next one.
You know, he did win an SEC championship in his second year in Athens. They hadn't won one in 20 years. Year 2 in Miami. He's going to play for an ACC championship against Clemson in a couple weeks, but they're thinking about bigger things all of a sudden here in Miami. Forget the Coastal Division title. On 3rd and 11, Homer around the end. Are they going to try to convert again on the ground? No, he stopped short this time at the 47 by Tranquil. Here comes a punt team.
Yeah, it's a different mindset, like I talked about, when it comes to what they're trying to do here. See, he has no issue at all. He said, all right, all right. I think the thing that he's probably most proud of right now with Rozier is he's managing the game very well. He's not making mistakes. He hadn't thrown an interception. Doing a good job in a turnover area. Haven't turned the ball over all night.
Yeah, last week, I should say, was an aberration. He threw 3 picks against the Hokies in quick succession. Only has 4 in all the other games, and you said he has been sharp tonight. 15 for 24. College Football Playoff National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. Monday, January 8th, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, the scene of the championship game. Semifinals on New Year's Day, the Rose Bowl, and in the Superdome. Notre Dame is 3 victories away from being right there among the last 4 teams standing, ranked number 3 coming in. But these rankings will change big time after today's games. Bush around the left end, scoots out of bounds after a gain of 6.
Tom Rinaldi's comment about Brian Kelly wanted to see who wants to battle, who wants to compete down big at halftime.
Well, the defense was in a position to get off the field, but Miami converted a 4th and 9 and added to the lead. Dexter Williams has been battling some injuries in the backfield now. Wimbush back to throw. Gets it downfield to St. Brown, who makes a catch near midfield. Tom?
Chris, Josh Adams has just come out of the medical tent. Has been in there for more than 10 minutes right now. Now making his way toward the back of the bench, but had his helmet in his hand, clearly frustrated as he made his way off. Medical personnel have attended to him for a while. We'll have to keep an eye on whether he returns to this game.
All right, Tom, thank you. Wimbush under pressure, looking to check it downfield. Instead, is dragged down for a loss by Zach McLeod. And did a retina scan on him after that unusual start against Wake Forest. They maintained that he was not in a concussion protocol, but it was a little bit mysterious. And he said the headaches are gone. He felt good. He maintained coming into this game.
Keep in mind, coming into tonight, he averaged 8.6 yards a carry. And tonight held to 40 yards, 2.5 yards a carry.
Hasn't really had any room to run.
Nowhere to go.
Offensive line has been swarmed by the much quicker Canes front. Wimbush on 2nd and 11 feels the pressure again, able to step free and delivers underneath to Smythe. And the graduate student tight end, who's a big part of this offense, finally makes a catch.
Yeah, it's a good job by Brandon Wimbush. He's right here. Watch him go out. But if the key is that Wimbush keeps the play alive. This defender ends up coming up, leaves the wide receiver, and then he makes the throw right there.
We'll feed it to Dexter Williams, a back who's got some speed, the junior from Orlando. But again, he's had He's had a problem with an ankle. He's had a problem with a quad, so he's not yet at full speed.
No, but when he's healthy, he does bring a little bit of a different gear. He's got great speed. Another young man from the state of Florida.
Well, they've been stuck in first gear all night, this offense, so they could use a gear shift.
Yeah.
As Wimbush is going to be wrestled down. It's a stand-up sack as Joe Jackson got him in the arms, one of the veteran pass rushers.
How excited is Joe Jackson tonight to have a chance to go up against McGlinchey, the left tackle. Watch 68. Trying to keep him outside. Wimbush climbs the pocket right into the arms of Joe Jackson, who has a great wingspan. 6'5", 258 pounds. It just seems to be getting better every week.
Different ways to challenge defensive players. And Manny Diaz says, don't be on that Mel Kiper highlight reel from McGlinchey and Nelson on draft day. Don't be a part of that. Make your own highlight reel. And they have. On 3rd and 8, Wimbush a throwback near side. Stefferson gets a block and darts for a first down inside the 20.
Yeah, it's a great call. Miami bring in blitz, fast flow defense, aggressive defense, especially on 3rd down. Little misdirection, a little throwback. Get the guard and the tackle on the outside. They can lead him downfield. Love the call there by Chip Long.
Picked up 16, and Notre Dame in the red zone. And that's a news flash. Wimbush again harassed and sacked. That was Trent Harris showing some speed off the edge.
It's a true freshman. Hainsey out there trying to deal with Trent Harris. Watch how quick he goes right by him. I mean, it's like he knew the snap count and Hainsey didn't. I mean, he jumped that right at the snap, and the poor freshman just didn't have a chance to get outside to help out.
4 sacks for the Canes to go with the 3 interceptions. And now Wimbush, very effective, explosive runner throughout the season. Finally a productive play with his legs down inside the 15.
And we really thought that would be a big part of their offense tonight. We thought we'd see him running and causing Miami potentially some fits. Over 600 yards rushing coming in. There just has not been very many opportunities with the way that Miami defensive line's playing.
3rd and 4, final 30 seconds of the quarter. Blitz again. Wimbush lobs it for the end zone. Jump ball. Touchdown. Going up and getting the football there is Alize Mack, the tight end. And the Irish finally on the scoreboard. 12 seconds in the quarter.
And a nice job by Wimbush throwing it up in the air where Mack at 6'4" can make it. See how he puts it up in the air? That's a big tight end against Young. And Young's only 5'9". When you put the ball up high where your tight end has a chance, and he's a tremendous athlete as a tight end, or really has wide receiver skills as a tight end, goes up and high points that ball and takes it away from Malik Young.
First touchdown reception this season for the junior, and now the Notre Dame offense going to attempt a 2-point conversion here, trying to chip away at the lead. Headed to 26. Dexter Williams is the back. Wimbush on the run, cuts it back and scores. And starts jawing to the Canes defenders. Down 26.
That's just a competitive spirit there. Chris, it's the first time maybe all night the offensive line had a good drive. It's a pretty good move there in the open field against Darian Owens. Just puts his foot in the ground. Kind of has that option to throw or run and makes a man miss and gets into the end zone, and then has a few words from Malik Young. But remember, he was benched earlier in this game for Ian Book and has been brought back into the second half to try to make something happen. But just don't want to get away. We talked a lot about the offensive line struggling against the speed and the pursuit of Miami most of this game. Give them an assist there and helping Brandon Wimbush and his offense drive the ball down the field there. 10 plays, 80 yards, and they finally get into the end zone.
It will not do much to ease the disappointment of guys like McGlinchey, who grew up a Notre Dame fan and He knows the stories of this rivalry. He's heard all the details of the past meetings against Miami, and his relatives, he told me, said, listen, as a Notre Dame player, as a leader, you don't lose to Miami. Not what he and the Irish expected, to say the least. High kickoff, and Thomas from the 3. He's going to be knocked down across the 20-yard line with 6 seconds to play in the third quarter. And I'll tell you what, there is nothing like the buzz of these last 2 Hurricanes games that the Dolphins games can approach this season. I promise you, as someone that lives down here, I hope it extends beyond just a couple big games of the year. Canes fans realize how much fun this is and how much impact they can make if they show up regularly. Look out. Busted in the clear. Homer out across midfield and finally dragged down near the Notre Dame 40. A punctuation to a third quarter as Miami headed to the fourth, up 34-8. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Well, Notre Dame was able to win the third quarter, 8-7, small consolation. 34-8 beginning the final quarter. Our Dr. Pepper Championship Drive game of the week. Notre Dame with the football, or I should say Miami with the football at the Notre Dame 40-yard line. For Travis Homer's run, he's had 108 yards in the third quarter, Kirk, on 7 carries after a very quiet first half. Now they spell him with Deejay Dallas.
And I really like how he finished this last carry. We went to a break there in the quarter, but he delivers a blow to Nick Coleman. Boom. Instead of running out of bounds, goes right through Nick Coleman, and it kind of symbolic of the night. Miami's been being aggressive and kind of in the attack mode all night, and I think the way Homer, who I said earlier, runs angry, showed you exactly that right there.
Very quiet guy with the media. He's not at all comfortable with the attention, but they promised me among his teammates, he's a talker. He's a vocal guy, and he's speaking loudly with the pads tonight.
10 yards to carry, I'll do that.
2nd and 10. Again, a handoff to Dallas, who picks his way for a short gain. The equation suddenly changing. Miami, from a team that was just scraping by, not really impressing a lot of people, beat Virginia Tech by 18 points here a week ago, and now leading Notre Dame by 26, a team that was a favorite coming in here ranked number 3. And all of a sudden, Mark Richt's team will be seen as a championship contender. They'll be in playoff position, you'd have to believe, when the new rankings come out.
They could not have picked a better weekend to have this kind of performance on this kind of stage. The narrative is definitely changing for the Miami Hurricanes.
Great point. Dallas cut down about 2 yards short of the marker by Devin Studstill, a backup safety. It'll be 4th down.
The challenge now is the Canes, after they finish this one off, is now they're going to get a lot of pats on the back. They've been able to feed off of the question. Is Miami really a great team? And they got excited against Virginia Tech, and of course excited this week. Now everyone's going to say, oh, you've already wrapped up the Coastal. Virginia, no problem. Pitt, no problem. Can't wait for that Clemson game. They got to be careful of that.
See some of the metrics that do go into the committee's decisions. You're right. They've been fueled by the doubters, the skeptics.
Exactly.
They've been driven to prove themselves. Now all of a sudden that will change quickly if they can finish off this performance. Richt spending a timeout to talk about the 4th and 2 play when you come back to Miami. Well, this morning you guys on game day had a pool and a pond behind the set. There are neither in Madison, but you got a lot of crazy Badger fans. It'll be a great scene for Michigan and the Badgers.
Got to believe the Badgers sitting there at 8 will move up, and I don't know how far they'll move up, but they're definitely going to move up with the losses ahead of them.
Could have Pollard join the Polar Bear Club. Jumped in the pool today.
He'll do something.
4th and 2 for the Canes off the timeout. Deejay Dallas is the back. They feed him. And Dallas fights hard. Looks like they will spot him right at the 30, and that should move the sticks. As as Ricks and the Canes will try to grind away on the clock early in the fourth. And the nose of the football well over that yellow line.
You know, we talked most of this night about the Notre Dame offensive line and the Canes defensive line, but a group of guys that quietly just keeps improving is the Miami offensive line.
Good point.
Across the board. I mean, they really have done a nice job these last 2 weeks.
That's Navon Donaldson. He's a true freshman, number 55.
Yeah.
Tyrese St. Louis is the right tackle, a very good one.
Well, Donaldson is the future at 6'6", 350 pounds.
McDermott has been around forever. It's his 30th start. 36th start for the left guard, Trevor Darling.
Yeah. Gauthier, nice job. He's done some last 2 weeks, some great blocks where Rozier's taken off on those quarterback draws. Athletic, getting up to that second level, getting to those linebackers.
Canes convert for the second time on fourth down tonight. Is the overrated chant and serenades the Irish. Rozier on the keeper around the corner for 5 yards. There is little doubting that number 3 was overrated based on what we've seen tonight. That's not even an editorial statement. That's just sort of a fact. Georgia, of course, the one team to beat them. You have to begin to recalibrate your thoughts about teams because Georgia was blown out at Auburn today. And
sure were.
It was
Auburn is a
high-quality loss for Notre Dame.
Auburn, even with the 2 losses after their impressive performance today. We've got Alabama in a couple weeks, and the way Bama looked today against Mississippi State. Think about what Auburn and Gus Malzahn, they're thinking about trying in the Iron Bowl, knock off Alabama and get a trip to the SEC championship, maybe a rematch with Georgia.
It's a flip of the script, and as Dallas is slammed down hard after a short gain, it'll be third down. And we knew that the road to the championship game in the SEC would kind of run through the plains, and Georgia was humbled there. After a quick start, scored. Auburn really dominated after that. And Alabama in a terrific battle in Starkville. If you missed it earlier, had to battle from behind, scored a late touchdown, had to fend off a Hail Mary in the end zone to hold on by 7. Canes have struggled a bit on third down. Still a problem area for the offense. Just 2 of 10 tonight. Homer's back in the game. And Homer around right end is going to be driven to the ground for a short loss by Greer Martini.
Again, Miami approaching play calling very, very differently with this big lead. And Notre Dame knows that. Greer Martini, who has good speed, just coming downhill in a hurry. Mark Richt just wants to continue to see that clock move.
Michael Badger has already broken the career record for field goals, surpassing Carlos Huerta. Has never missed in his career between 40 and 49.
He'll be kicking on Sundays for a long time.
That's from 42. And that is the announcer's jinx as he misses for the first time in his career between 40 and 49. As soon as I said it, I said, watch him. As soon as you said it, I was like, oh no, oh no. Goodyear Blimp providing aerial coverage as it did this morning, College Game Day, south of here in Coral Gables. Goodyear watching over the hard work and determination of blimp-worthy athletes for more than 60 years. Goodyear official sponsor of the college football playoff. And there'll be some playoff noise talked in Miami after this impressive performance tonight. Irish with 10:05 to play. Wimbush in front of Dexter Williams, looking to take a downfield shot, and does launch it for Stefferson into coverage, and almost another takeaway. Sheldrick Redwine close to his 3rd pick of the season.
Brandon just put that ball up and poked it to speed. Oh, look at that. Jeez.
Sod in the face. He's just going to take the helmet off to clean out the eyes. Looks like he may have landed awkwardly as well. Redwine Jr. from here in Miami, who's twice had the turnover chain this season.
I think Stefferson came down on top of him and forced him down into the ground. Oh, yeah. Face mask right into the turf.
Take a bite of this brand new sod that was laid down for this game.
Stefferson actually with that right hand knocked that ball away, or he would have had another interception.
We'll take a break. Redwine looks to be okay. Got the helmet back on as his teammates trying to get the Irish off the field here. 2nd and 10. Crowd is still here and they're still loud, loving it. It's just like last week. This is a party that they have waited a long time to enjoy, and they want to stick around and savor it. Williams makes a cut. And nice run in traffic out near the 35. Very close to the marker.
A good job up front. That time, Notre Dame saying, okay, they're going to get upfield. Let's allow them to get upfield and then work around them. One of the inside, like Alex Bars that time was able to bring his man in, almost baited him, and created a crease there in that defense.
Very few creases tonight.
No, man.
3rd and 1. Williams starts forward and the first down across the 40.
You know, we talked a lot about that. It's just been one of those nights. Much defer that time to center, working a combination block with Quentin Nelson, giving Dexter Williams again enough room there to be able to pick up some yards.
Wimbush from the pocket and has time, launches downfield, and laying out was Smythe. He was hit hard. Incomplete.
Yeah, he had 2 safeties coming in there. Johnson on one side and Amari Carter on the other. That is a tight window to try to get in there. Pretty good throw, but great closing speed by Jaquan Johnson to come over there and get involved in dislodging that football from Smythe.
A lot of teams have had a lot of trouble with Notre Dame's tight ends. Miami felt they had a good plan. They liked their matchups, and they have taken the tight ends completely out of it tonight, haven't they?
Other than the Mac touchdown, that's really about it.
Good point. He did go up and get that ball in the end zone. Blindside, ball taken away. Garvin, who had a similar strip sack last week, does it again, forces it, recovers it. Give that man the turnover chain. That's an instant replay of last week.
And by the way, he just went around, everybody talking about a first rounder, McGlinchey, went right around him with speed. Demetrius Jackson is down. He's not able to play this year. Jonathan Garvin's been asked to step up. He gets the chain. Watch his speed. Watch the left edge. Watch how quick he gets around and uses his hands. McGlinchey not moving his feet, bats that ball down in the presence of mind to jump on top of it.
I mean, you can't find 2 more identical plays. He did the same thing to Josh Jackson, that karate chop, knocked the ball loose, grabbed it himself, and you're right, that's a freshman against a senior.
Who's projected to be a first-round pick. That's the 4th straight game that Miami has 4 turnovers.
Chain getting a workout. Garvin, another young player, is making a big statement tonight. Remember, it's Bandy, the true freshman, who had the 66-yard pick six. Garvin, a young guy. And their goal preseason, Kirk, was 25 takeaways. They had 20 coming in, which put them up there in that category 5 hurricane. You make the takeaway, you get your picture up there. They're going to be 1 short of their season goal after 4 more tonight. And, hey, they might reach it before we're done here.
Manny Diaz needs to raise the bar. 25. He's going to say, no, I was just kidding, guys. 35. I meant 35. We've still got 4 games to go.
You know, I negotiated to bring that chain, put it around your neck last week here in the booth. I think you're the only outsider that's touched it. They thought if anybody outside the program touched it, it might jinx it. As Homer takes off.
I think it's just I'd like to think I accelerated.
Dude, you're bringing him a little magic. I mean, come on.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Manny Diaz says, let's keep the mystique alive. I don't think he really knew of our plan, but hey, it didn't matter. They're just wearing it out tonight.
It's been busy.
10-karat gold and Cuban links has got all those
it's become
orange and green jewels on it.
It's become a personality on this team. The chain has a life of its own.
In the last 2 weeks, teams that hadn't turned it over all year, the Hokies and the Irish, falling prey again. Homer in a short game. And get Manny Diaz's thoughts on this turnover chain and its importance. It's more than just a symbol.
We were brainstorming, want to do something fun. for our players, but obviously we wanted to encourage getting more turnovers from what we had a year ago. But it had to be Miami. We had to have something Miami, and we kicked around a lot of ideas as a staff, and I don't remember who came up with it, but someone said a Cuban link. And once we all looked at what a Cuban link was and how it could look, it was a no-brainer.
A.J. Machado is the jeweler to the stars down here. Lots of players in various sports and rappers have his work, and he created that. Give Miami a local discount, by the way. Homer darts down inside the 10. Some facts and figures on what has become one of the most fun and important aspects of the sport this season.
And Mark Richt said it right. If you're 4-5, people make fun of it. When you're undefeated and you're chasing trying to get to a league championship and who knows, maybe into the playoff, it starts to become a big story. And the players are feeding off it. There's so much pride in that, Shane.
And it's about them. It's not about taunting the opponent. They run off the field after a takeaway to celebrate with their team and the fans.
It's a race to their own sideline to get over to the chain.
First and goal just inside the 10. Homer battles hard and slammed down there by Myron Tangavaloa-Mosa, backup defensive tackle.
Well done. I was wondering if
I was hoping to just say his name once tonight. Yeah. Rick, by the way, second year calling plays. He's done that since he got to Miami. He said earlier this was his first year, but I think he's continued to evolve and kind of learn what this man can do. What are Malik Rozier's strengths? How do we play to him as an offense? And even with the loss of Walton, this offense has just gotten better the last couple games. Second and goal.
Rozier just working that play clock, continuing to just manage the game here for Mark Richt.
And Homer knocked down at the 5-yard line. To begin to look ahead for Miami. They'll jump into the playoff conversation. The Coastal Division clinched for the first time, and that was the preseason goal for Richt. Amazingly, Miami had never played for an ACC championship, and now they have it clinched for division with 2 games to go. Virginia comes in here in a noon game. Slightly different environment next Saturday. Then they go to Pittsburgh on a Friday night for the regular season finale.
Think about where this program was 7 or 8 years ago to where they are tonight. I mean, think of the job that Mark Richt has done in 2 years.
Dallas fights down inside the 5. They went 10 seasons with one top 25 finish. One in 10 years. Part of those years you're talking about before they began to turn it around and rebuild it.
Oh, you go back to 2000 and 2001 and 2002 where Butch Davis built the Miami pride and program back up. And 03 and 04 they were okay, but really since then they have been trying to get back to having a chance to have that pride back, and I think that's why this program is so hungry.
No field goal attempt. Beans will go for it on 4th down from just inside the 5. And they just feed Deejay Dallas, who lunges for another touchdown. Set up by Garvin's strip sack. Has a little fun with the crowd. Dallas fights hard. Let's check the knee just to make sure. He's clearly in.
Yep. He's starting to become a really nice back.
Sure is.
I mean, again, high school quarterback, played wide receiver here when Walton went down and Homer became the guy. They needed to find a backup back, and Thomas Brown said that he earned the right to become that guy. Taking advantage of it.
2 career touchdowns for Dallas.
In a couple of weeks. If they win there, they head to the SEC championship game.
C.J. Sanders from the 5. Auburn, somewhat a forgotten team. Everybody thought this was a conference dominated by Alabama and Georgia. All right, now, time for your top 6. Got this in bracket format. Looks like the 1 and the 4 teams on the left and the 2 and 3 on the right.
Yeah, I put Oklahoma up at 1 because of the way Baker Mayfield, the way they continue to score. Alabama holds on. I put them at 2. 3, I have the Miami Hurricanes. I move them all the way up with some of the upsets. I think they control their own destiny. Ironically, Clemson for me is at 4, and then there's undefeated Wisconsin sitting there at 5, waiting for more upsets to happen. And Auburn, despite 2 losses, right there for me at number 6 after today.
Game day's going to Madison next week?
We're going to Madison.
They might have something to say about the undefeated Badgers who look good today, ranked down there at number 5 for you. So heads up on that as St. Brown working hard, breaks free to the 30-yard line, and the Irish just with 3:45 to go in this one. It began in an ugly way as the bus was hit by a bottle, a window broken out of that lead bus that Coach Kelly and some of the players were sitting on. Some idiot getting involved early, but it just, from that ugly incident, it just kind of went downhill. Wimbush, a frustrating night. At times, this game looks too fast for him. A flag comes in as he makes a big run down into Miami territory. Like a looks like it's on a receiver downfield blocking Claypool. It says, who, me?
Yeah. Right in front of an official. Wimbush, used to seeing him do that this year, picking up big yards on scrambles.
Of course, the Irish fans wondering, Kirk, how can an offense that's been so overpowering, running the ball against everybody except Georgia?
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist, offense number 29, 15-yard penalty. First down.
And he comes in averaging 7 yards a rush, number 1 of the country, smothered tonight.
I can tell you, it was the speed of the Miami defense, the relentless attitude that they played with, and being in this environment. Those are things that they haven't seen a lot of this year. So you can have your gaudy stats. We can talk all we want about a big, powerful offensive line in Josh Adams, but early in this game, you could see that they were moving slow, and Miami was moving fast. And that speed, as Manny Diaz said, hey guys, you want to be able to continue to try to get back to having a Miami defense, this school known over the years for great defense. These are the kind of games that the great Miami defense build their legacy on. Undersized, fast defense against big, strong offenses back in the 80s and 90s like Nebraska or Michigan or whoever it might be, Oklahoma. And that's what they were able to do tonight. So Manny Diaz challenged them, and that defense took that challenge to heart.
And he gave them a history lesson, reminding them about how their predecessors in Miami had done just that. After a 20-yard run and a 15-yard penalty, it's 1st and 5 now. And Wimbush flushed again, has some room, level with the line of scrimmage as he runs out after a 1-yard gain. Pacific Life game summary is the quarterback comparison and a clear edge to Malik Rozier tonight. It was efficient, 44 important rushing yards, including a touchdown.
Yeah, what doesn't show up on the right there is just Rozier being in command. Again, we saw it last week. We saw it tonight. Managed the game very well. And Brandon Wimbush, who would have thought that at one point he'd be benched in this game for the backup Ian Book.
There's a throw incomplete over the middle. The one thing they've done brilliantly besides run the ball is take care of the ball. But the 4 turnovers tonight converted into 24 Miami points. Winning the first defensive score of the year, which Mark Rick, joking, was long overdue. Kane's defense finally finding the end zone. And as the party continues for another 2.5 minutes here in Miami, a result that will have the college football world.
Substitution infraction on the offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And that selection committee, when they convene, it'll have them suddenly, and I would think radically, rethinking this Miami football team.
Have to. You talked earlier about the close calls that they had against teams like Georgia Tech and Florida State, who aren't great teams. They had to pull it out. But you can't help. I just showed you mine. I had them in the top 4 after some of the upsets. You can't help but admire and respect what Miami's done in their 2 biggest games of the year. Back-to-back, big stage, Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. Dominating in both games.
Wimbush over the middle, and the catch is made by Claypool, who's knocked down. We got Deion McIntosh, a backup tailback in the game for the Irish. His bigger brother, RJ, one of the starting defensive tackles for Miami, number 80. So Both McIntosh brothers getting in there. Before wrap-up show with Cassidy Hubbard is coming up. They have highlights of that thriller, Alabama surviving in Starkville, in case you missed that earlier. 4th down and 2 in the final 2 minutes. Handoff and nothing doing. I think he's going to be about a foot short. McIntosh stopped by Chad Thomas, and Miami will take over in plus territory. Just for fun, they'll bring the chains out, but this one doesn't look to be that close. I agree it's a combination of upsets above them, but the strength of statement here by Miami. You ranked Notre Dame 3rd. You did that with conviction. They come in here, they were no match for Miami. And the Canes will take over on downs and just be able to grind out the final 49. 149, excuse me.
Mark Richt and Manny Diaz, they may want to give a game ball to the defense the way they played today, but especially the defensive line. They were challenged all week with this Notre Dame offensive line. And R.J. McIntosh, Kendrick Norton on the inside played great, getting off of blocks. Chad Thomas, Trent Harris, Joe Jackson. We saw Jonathan Garvin rotate a lot of bodies, and all of them had a big impact on this game.
There's R.J. By the way, the McIntosh brothers in this game have a younger brother, Kenny, who's a highly touted running back recruit in the class of 19. So each brother's trying to recruit the younger brother to their school. Evan Sheriffs comes in, the backup to take a knee. And this crowd on its feet, roaring as it has been from well before kickoff, to show its appreciation for this Miami team.
And they're all coming back next week for the noon game against Virginia with the Coastal already clinched, right?
Don't taunt these.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not taunting. I'm saying let's keep this party going. It's been 2 great weeks. Early kick next week. Got to show up and support your team. It's serious business.
It is the home finale. It's senior day.
Well, not only that, you're in rarefied air now. I mean, it's
indeed
not only clinched to Coastal. You're thinking about continuing to win, stay in that race for the playoff, have a shot to be undefeated, and play Clemson in the ACC championship. Can't let up now.
What a clean performance. Miami, no turnovers. 1 penalty was a delay of game. Catholics versus convicts. No. Conviction. Conviction from start to finish. Convincing dominance from the orange and green. Diaz's defense was brilliant. The chain brought out 4 more times. Rozier in the offense. Efficient. Balanced. And Miami announcing itself as not just ACC Coastal Division champions, but very strong playoff contenders. National title contenders in year 2 for Mark Richt. As Kelly and the Irish are sent home humbled. As the final seconds tick away, we'll get Mark Richt's reaction with Maria Taylor. It's a final officially.
Thanks so much, Chris. Well, Coach, you dominated this game from start to finish. What impressed you most about your team's effort tonight?
Well, I think it started up front on both sides of the ball. We know how big and powerful they are, but we were pretty decent as well. I thought both the offensive and defensive line took care of business.
Before this game started, you knew that your team had clinched the Coastal for the first time ever. What does that mean for this program moving forward?
Well, it's a big deal. It's a shame it was kind of anticlimactic. We didn't really want to talk about it. You know, we kind of were
now you can.
Little quiet little daps here and there, but we just wanted to focus on this game. But an unbelievable job of winning the Coastal. First time in the history of the school as far as being able to represent in Charlotte, and we're looking forward to that.
And your defense, we talked about them setting the tone, but how about both sides of the ball? I mean, offensively, 0 turnovers. What came from that side for you?
Both sides of the ball did play very well, and specials as well. And I want to say, praise God.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Tom, over to you.
Maria, thank you very much. Malik, the question that always gets asked over and over, is the U back? What was the answer tonight?
I mean, yeah, anytime you put up 237 yards rushing on this defense, the line's doing a great job. The running backs are in their holes, so they made the job easy on me, just giving a handoff and just watching the guys run.
What statement, Malik, do you think you sent to the committee on a weekend when a lot of teams above you guys lost?
I think we just showing that we can score. Our defense told me that if we put up 21, we're going to win. They held them to 8, and our defense is playing phenomenal. So,
tremendous performance. Congratulations, Malik.
Thank you so much.
Chris?
Well, Tom, around here, the standard for being, quote, back is pretty high with those 5 national championships, but it's a big deal. And Mark Richt, in his chilled-out, laconic way, says we think we're pretty decent, too. They were pretty decent tonight.
A little thing there, but I love what Malik Rozier said about, hey, I love how the offense and the defense are intertwined with his team. Second week in a row, he threw 3 picks last week, and the defense went out of their way to come down to him and talk to him and say, hey, man, it's good, keep battling, we got your back. That tells you a little bit more of what's going on here. That's not always normal on teams, and Miami has that right now. And you just heard him tell Tom that was in play again tonight. Defense say, if you score 21, we got this.
The winning streak stretches to 14 games since that heartbreaking loss in South Bend a year ago. Coastal champions, playoff contenders. What a night in Miami. The rebirth of this rivalry in a Big Six game was a beatdown, 41-8 for the U. Notre Dame's second loss of the season will have them scratching their heads as they head home. What happened tonight here in South Florida? Well, the Canes took a huge step toward being back. The Ford Wrap-Up Show is coming up next. This game directed by Derek Mobley, produced by Bill Bonnell. So long from Miami. Cassidy Hubbard now in the studio.